Amherst Writers and Artists. Thanks, Katie, for that. That's Katie Frank, our managing director, who's helping with some technical things, including the new link, which we really appreciate. Shelley Carey is going to be co-hosting with me today. And Andrea Vasallo, where are you? I think I saw you earlier.
I'm here.
There you are. Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. Yep.
Hi.
Is also an AWA board member who's going to be helping today. So we appreciate that help too. So if you're not reading, we prefer that you stay muted until you need to speak. So if you know how to mute yourself, please go ahead and do that in that upper right-hand corner of your little box with your face in it or your name in it. If you could put yourself on mute, that would be great. And obviously, when it's your time to read, we definitely want to have you unmute and read. That's for sure. So we're excited about that. Oh, Keisha Anderson, hi, you're your first reader.
Oh my goodness, hi.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm giving you a tiny little bit of heads up because we're gonna do it alphabetically by last name. And you're the first person in the book. So but not for a minute yet. We got a little bit of time.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah. So
I just did. Do you want me to?
So yeah, so we'll like I said, if there's some little sound bleeding through, we may mute you or ask you to mute if that's okay. And then as more people are arriving, we'll happily welcome them. Oh, there's Ron Kaleem. Kaleem? I think it's Kaleem. I've been saying Kaleem. Is that right, Ron?
It's Calumet.
Calumet. See, I did it totally wrong. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you so much. Yeah. So because we've been seeing your names written for so long, right? We've undoubtedly been mispronounced. My last name is Haig, by the way. It rhymes with egg, but you call me Jan. It's fine.
Well,
So,
you came closer than most.
Yeah, not necessarily, but thank you for that kind remark. All right. Well, we are all delighted on behalf of Amherst Writers and Artists to welcome you to this reading, and people continue to arrive, and that's just fine. We know folks will come and go as the reading goes on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, especially a technical issue. Katie Frank is here from AWA in the little box that says Amherst Writers and Artists to help if you have any concerns or questions. And she will be looking at the chat, as will Andrea, right? So we appreciate that. And so, yeah, I'll just go ahead and get started with some of my remarks, and we'll get this thing going. All right. So I want to welcome all of you to the reading of this year's Peregrine, the annual journal of Amherst Writers and Artists. Every issue has this bird on it, which is actually not a peregrine. We learned from Pat Schneider, who's the founder, but we've been using it so long we like it, and so that's the bird that appears on Peregrine. I'm Jan Haig. I'm the co-editor of this year's special edition of Peregrine, dedicated to the work of Black poets, as you know, called Black Poets Speak. We're honored to have many of the poets here today to read their work. And as I've already said, one of those poets, Shelley Johnson Carey, will act as a co-host with me today. And she and I will take turns introducing the poets before they read. For those who don't know, Amherst Writers and Artists' mission is to support the voices of established and emerging writers, to free silenced and marginalized voices, and to promote respect for the artist in all writers through the use of the AWA method, developed by Pat Schneider and described in her book, Writing Alone and with Others. Our community is made up of AWA certified leaders and the writers they serve, typically in writing workshops and groups both in person and virtually around the world. Let's see where, oh, sorry. Just lost my remarks there. Leaders receive intensive training in the AWA method, founded more than 30 years ago by Pat Schneider in Amherst, Massachusetts. Pat died last year. Pat began AWA's longstanding commitment to inclusion and diversity of voices in writing workshops, making sure that value of diversity is a part of our organizing principles. I have no doubt that she'd be pleased by the variety of excellent voices in Black Poets Speak, including the ones that you'll hear today. I'd like to express my gratitude to the co-editor of Black Poets Speak, Rachelle Parker, who could not join us today. Her tireless work to read through the more than 250 poems submitted resulted in this fine collection. She and I worked together to compile Black Poets Speak, and I was honored to work with Rachel, who is herself an accomplished Black poet. Thank you also to Janet and Ellen Summers, who took the accepted poems and turned them into book form, as well as former AWA board president Lane Goddard, who put the finishing touches on the book and got it into production. I'd also like to thank the AWA board, including President Sue Reynolds, as well as Managing Director Katie Frank and Director of Training Programs Maureen Buchanan Jones. Andrea Vasallo, an AWA board member, is also assisting us today. We are recording this reading and will make it available through the AWA website, amherstwriters.org, in the coming days. You can see that address on the little box that says Amherst AWA, where's Katie is. So we'll get started with the reading. Poets, we're going to ask you to read in alphabetical order by your last name as you appear in the book. We would like you to read just at least one, maybe two, if not too long, poems in the book, depending on how many you have. And please forgive us if we need to ask you how to pronounce your name, or if we do mispronounce it, because we are still, as I said, we haven't necessarily heard your names said out loud. So our first reader, if she's ready, is Keisha Gay Anderson. And I will give you a little bit of an introduction, Keisha, with your biography in the book. Let's gotta read this. Keisha Gay Anderson, MFA, is the author of Everything is Necessary, Willow Books, 2019, Gathering the Waters, Jammy, 2014, and A Spell for Living, forthcoming from Agape. She has been named Editor's Choice for the Numinous Horizons Luminous Origin Literary Award. Thank you, Keisha.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll just read. Your doorbell's ringing. All right. Pleasure to see you all. I'll just read one poem from the collection, and it's called Sit Here for a Word. Sit here for a word, they say, and memory undiscovered trickles in. A cool wind glides across my cheek, a rocking as if on a gentle sea heralds their message, mostly keep going and listen to us with your whole body. Will you comply this time? Plug into a river story flowing from a waterfall unseen, a swirling blackness that you know is home. I am still being born, my ancestors said, still opening my eyes. Help me bloom this life into flight, unshape, unfurl like the shape of sweetness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keisha. That was just wonderful. Yeah, applause, snapping, whatever we can do. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Shelley, would you like to introduce our next reader?
I sure would. Okay. The next speaker is Lisa Brathwaite, who this is her bio. Lisa Brathwaite speaks on life in 17 syllables and is the author of a poetry collection, True Haiku, 69 haiku celebrations of women and our real hotness, winner of the 2015 Lee and Low Books New Voices Award. Lisa strives to amplify hashtag Black Lives Matter through radical demonstrations of Black joy.
Thank you so much. I will just read 3, as there are 9 lines altogether. First is Ahmad. From spring pavement cracks, corona of cover-up, summer reckoning. Rihanna. The downpour of hail blows violent from the breezeway. Mare falls uncovered. And George. A last wisp of air returns to its mother tongue and the rain descends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Wonderful work. Thank you. All right. And then we will ask Kim Brandon to read. I will read her bio in the book. Kim Brandon is a poet, artist, activist, storyteller. Her work has been included in stage performances, anthologies, and journals. She is a Brooklyn Poets Poet of the Week, a VONA alum, and has attended Wild Seed retreats and a Cave Canem Writers Workshop. Her first collection, Red Honey, is due out this year. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm very, very grateful to be here. And I'm also very honored for the Black Poets Speak collection in honoring Denise Bell, who was, a lot of us know Denise, just amazing poet, spirit, mentor to most of us. And I met Denise maybe 5 or 6 years ago through the Women of Color Writers. And Denise and I wrote together. We sat together once a month to write, and then every morning we would text each other what we were going to work on today. And so just to take a moment to honor Denise, I just found her to be a poet who studied the craft, and not one word was out of place, misspoken, and she just had a way of crafting. And the thing I admired most about her was that she listened to us. She didn't talk a lot. So, but when she did speak, you needed to listen and hear exactly what it was she was saying. And she could say, after hearing one of your poems, who you needed to read, who you needed to emulate, who you needed to replicate. And it was just wonderful. And when we workshopped together, she would ask me for feedback on a sonnet or a villanelle, and I couldn't touch that. I couldn't touch that. And so she had to teach me how to even give her feedback on some of the forms that she used, and she liked the bop and just so many others. So what I love to do is to just read one of Denise's poems. And Denise, at the time of her passing, she passed in February of this year of complications due to COVID. And I'm sure many of us on the meeting tonight have lost people since COVID began. So my heart goes out to you and families who are also experiencing a level of grief like we've never known before. And here is one of Denise's poems. It's called Remember My Name. After I retired, I started a routine. Discipline won't let my mind wander. Every morning I buy a paper coffee, look at obituaries taped to Joe's barbershop window. I like it when their families use photos. Pictures make the dead more personal. I walk to my bench, watch workers waiting for their bus. We're there who I used to be. A 30-year transit man. I was union. Fought for security, dignity. My phone always rang. I was part of the next best thing. Retirement made me a used to be. Cora's out saving souls. There's no sense in me sitting in an empty house. She prays I stop my stubbornness and walk in her light. I watch Joe open up. I look to see if he taped up any new notices. If he do, I get to read them. While reading, I got to thinking, when my time comes, Cora got to put a picture of me in my obituary. It'll help people remember who I was, the old man who sat on the bench. Denise's manuscript, Songs Along Myrtle, was finished at the time of her passing, and she just loved using the highest art forms to highlight ordinary life and people who were going through hardships and trials. And so with that, I'd like to close with just reading my poem, which is in this collection also. And this is dedicated to my father. And it's called No matter what happens, don't move. My father gathered us together, his children, then gathered up all the rusty, dented, leftover cans of house paint from the floor of the hall closet. He heard them first before we saw them. The police were coming again, this time their sirens raging war, breaking small fragments of peace found on the poverty line. Popping the lids off like flipping pancakes, them smelling like turpentine and burnt offerings, him pouring them over us, his children, heavy globs drifting over us, coating everything below, our crowns, our new and our hand-me-down clothes. He put his index finger to his lips to silence us, his eyes pleading, "Be still, my children, be still." The door pushed in, he was knocked down, punched, kicked, guns were jammed in his face. He was handcuffed and dragged away from us. The paint dried. We had not been seen. We had not been discovered. We are now the same baby blue as the bathroom walls, the same canary yellow from the kitchen walls, the same soft butterscotch gold from the living room walls, safe and invisible for the time being, as long as we don't move. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. And thank you for that great tribute to Denise. I think we'll have at least one more person who's going to speak about Denise Shalewa, right? When we get to Shalewa. So great, good. Thank you so much. She was a poet who was new to me, but very familiar to those many of you on the East Coast. So I was really excited. I'm in California, so I was very happy to know about her, and we were very honored to include some of her work in this book. So thank you so much, Shelley. I get to introduce the next poet.
Okay, sure. Ron Calumet uses wordplay to describe the feelings in his photography of social issues, nature, spirituality, and many visions of his camera. He puts them to words. He intertwines stories with his photos, adding beauty to disaster, seeing colors in new dimensions, engineering words with a mind presence beyond 3 dimensions. Here's Ron.
Thank you. This is actually one of my first time actually writing, and I've taken a course with one of the speakers here today, Maricia Gabriel. And so my poem kind of reflects on clouds and playing a play of words. For example, weather, the weather, something happens, or weather as far as the clouds or the environment or climate effects. So my poem is titled, "It's Raining on the Moon." It's raining on the moon, not a cloud in the sky. The only clouds visible are rolling under the Golden Gate, riding with total respect of the spirits of the shell mounds. The slither of the moon is seen in view, 45 degrees to the western horizon. While rain falls on the moon, clouds forming in our hearts, these clouds called weather clouds, tempered by our intuition to manifest the weather in our life. Weather clouds, the clouds that protect the spirit of the land and the molecular beings to reside on it. Many shapes dances with the wind, flashing lightning, setting off drumming thunderous applause, the energy of the clouds, so miraculously tantalizing. The colors go deep into the universe. Look up, see there, the weather clouds welcome you. Weather clouds reflect the best in us. The reflections reflect on you. Shine. Not a cloud in the sky can stop you. Reflect on yourself. Weather clouds are always reflected in and around you. The transparent aroma of the clouds gathering, gracing the land. The weather clouds say, enjoy my fragrance that I have gifted you with. The wind is calling the weather clouds to the next land of cloudiness. Let us dance into the sunset to the place where weather clouds gather to protect the planet Earth. Breathe, feel, feel, breathe. The clouds are beautiful while it is raining on the moon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. Very nice reading. Wonderful. Next, we have Shelley Johnson Carey. I will read her bio. Shelley Johnson Carey studied writing at Hampshire College. She is the author of Thin Mint Memories, a celebration of Girl Scout cookies. Shelley recently retired from a long editorial career, holds an NFA in nonfiction writing from Goucher College, and is an Amherst Writers and Artists Workshop facilitator. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you. Okay, my poem is called The United Nations of My Hair, an Uneasy Alliance. To reveal unknown DNA, I bestow a gift unto myself. Puzzle pieces from times gone by, my heredity of stealth. Genetic markers in a vial, mail to the land of who am I? Born with tresses dark and thick, smoothed by amniotic pomade. Locks now white, but disguised to conceal my youth chasing charade. Coils colored bronze, red or plum, or gold as my sunset yet to come. Though 3/5 citizen memories remain, a hope for insight lingers, dark to light, black to white, like question marks through my fingers. Emails then arrive, bringing answers to my prayer, clues to decode the age-old mysteries of my hair. Ancestral paths that intersect Congo, Nigeria, Cameroon, Norway, Ireland, Spain, all witness the Middle Passage moon. And flowing down my back are waves that lull to sleep captors and enslaved. Britain versus Benin, Sweden versus Senegal, diasporic clashes in the land of cotton, stolen roots tented in style to mask memories not forgotten. Ringlets that cling to my hairline's nape guard coercion secrets and children of rape. My legacy of massive curls wrap around time and place. A blonde girl, black men amalgam, tap, 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 a tune of race. They bojangle down my double helix to an R&B and country music remix. But despite the disruption of my genes by Union Jack's colonial forages, neither the stickiest gel nor flat iron sting can flatten my nappy edges. My resolute strands of rigidity bloom in fevered humidity. Whispering chants from the motherland, these warriors frame my face. Kinky wisps, proud and free, rise high to claim their space. And triumphantly refusing to be bowed down, they form my magnificent African crown. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much. All right. And next we have Jessica Daly Keithline. Jessica Daly Keithline is a writer, mother, and wife. She was inspired to write at a young age when she found her mother's journals and letters and listened to her father's stories. Jessica believes in the power of turning one's voice to dispel ignorance and fight for freedom. Jessica?
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is called Mama and Son. This is called Mama and Son. I wrote it for my little boy last summer. In the moment I heard him call out for his mama, the reality and fear and gravity of being your mama became real. It became tangible. The realization that my gorgeous, giggly, sometimes solemn little boy exists with a short-lived innocence. Because in a world where white supremacy exists, Black boy joy is hard to come by, and Black childhood is a limited time lease. One day, the charm of your smile and the wisdom behind the eyes that we share will be outweighed by your tall stature, strong arms, and heavy hands. Your kindness ignored in lieu of fearing your body. I looked at you and wondered when the crossover from adorable child to threat begins. 8, 10, 14. The youngest person to ever get the electric chair was George Stinney, convicted of murder after 10 minutes in an all-white jury. Emmett Till was 14, Trayvon 17, Tamir 12. When will folks begin crossing the street to avoid you? What age does Black boyhood end, but does it ever really begin? In the moment I heard him call for his mama, I heard your husky voice. You called for me when distressed, hungry, scared, bored with the scenery of your playpen. To you, mama is the management, and you file your every complaint with her. In the moment I heard him call for his mother, writhing, crying, begging, I realized how wrong my own mother had been. She said membership in the fraternal sisterhood of Black mothers was only a lifetime gig. But in a world where lynching a Black man in the street in front of his community and friends, cutting off his air supply with hands casually rested in pockets as if it's just another day, humanity does not extend to darker hues. We live in a place where empty-eyed Sandras are propped up against the wall for a mugshot long after the life has left her body. In a world of that sort, Black motherhood is a job that extends even after I leave this plane and go on to the next. In that moment, I wanted his mama to come and reclaim her child, ending the close to 9 minutes of torture. I wanted her to leave nothing but a corpse for the demon to desecrate. I imagined her lifting from her resting place to tend to the cries of her 46-year-old baby. In that moment, I knew that not even death ends the cover a mother gives her child. In that moment, I knew the day you were born, I was enlisted. I had signed up intentionally and unintentionally for a job that will follow me into eternity. This is forever. And should you ever call for me, know this. I'll show up just like his mama, and you and I will burn this down together, hand in hand, mother and son. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. All right, Shelley, you have our next person.
Unmute. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to circle back to Robin Cadell. Robin M. Cadell, award-winning journalist and Nikki's mom, lives in the Adirondacks. A native of Maryland's Eastern Shore, she's a graduate of the University of Maryland at College Park and Goddard College. A Cave Canem Fellow, she's a Gotham's Writer Workshop and Breadloaf Writers Conference alum. So is Robin there?
Can't hear you, Robin. We see you though. Can you get a little closer to the mic or to the computer? Not really.
How about now?
There you go. Now we can. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So I didn't know it was going to be writing. Here we go. Promise, please, Jericho. 1. No name for a netball. Takes time for old but new. Become familiar on tongue. Hold it. Stroke with it. Set with it. Understand its mojo. A thrift shop score. She clutches a fierce satchel. Asprinton painted black. Hard flowers. Glass beads strung on worsted wire. At threshold, I boomerang to save her. Dixie feet, which hitched to Adirondacks. No name for doll rocking Southwestern print dress. Chills with pen maiden trying to Pocahontas. I doll out, all price $15. She waits for freedom, presses black velvet in jewel case. No mind doctor here, no veiled seer stare. To decipher why nameless doll and brown traveling shoes invokes visceral joy or hate. 2. The New Testament Jericho sprints like a wide receiver across Hawkins Hall. Put that away. Get that away from me. How does a post-Civil War II Depression era artifact with a walnut visage, 8-ball eyes, red lips, and grinning teeth make a Shreveport native son Bojangles? What is the why and how of a doll made by long ago hands deep below the Mason-Dixon? It's easier to make the Mississippi whine than walk on words or name a doll powerful as Laveau. 3. A California poet adorns her West Point home with doll parts, porcelain heads and limbs, discombobulated bits suspended in glass vessels, centuries of offerings, a strange love. Jericho labels doll coven, women of the word, by the word, for the word. All fear the XX child with text looping DNA, rescuers of abandoned dolls. Beneath the last quarter moon, the national treasure ferries across shining waters. Anybody who loves that doll has no understanding of the mysteries of the universe. Atlanta, Emory, and Ebola welcome Black Poetry Day poet back home. That doll waits in an electric blue sack for a name.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you so much. Shelley, I think you have the next reader too.
Right. Okay. I have the honor of reading Angela M. Franklin's poem, but first her bio. Angela M. Franklin is a writer, poet, and documentarian from Los Angeles, California. A recent MFA graduate from Antioch University, Los Angeles, she volunteers with Pongo, a poetry writing project for teens in juvenile detention. Social justice is her passion and muse, which is reflected in her published work. So Angela's poem is called The Birthing Chamber. Inspired by an article, WPLGlocal10.com, May 8, 2019. You could hear her screams, subhuman, worse than a black bear caught in a steel trap, recalled an ear witness to Eyewitness News. An abandoned Black woman, pregnant, bipolar, schizophrenic, tethered to a jail bed, was in labor. See, this is how they treat us. The ear witness told story with back to camera, said never again, ever would she want to see what she saw and hear what she heard the day a prisoner gave birth alone. They thought Tammy was oblivious to pain after her addiction to self-medicating cocaine, The howling patients shunned and shamed. Guards insisted crazy Black women don't feel pain. See, this is how they did her. The woman's womb broke open. Old cesarean keloids stretched and wept. Labor cruel tentacles pierced and pinched. Help, she shouted, and pushed and squatted 7 hours. Baby coming now. God, it hurts. Please, please, somebody, please help me. Oh God, it's coming. Help us. Please, somebody have mercy. Please help me. Help, oh Jesus. Sympathy pains punctured nearby vaginas. Inmates in cells recall their own birthing agony, wept with Tammy, screamed for help, but jailers played sadistic roulette with mother and fetus's health. See, this is how they did them. The blood-splattered birth chamber resembled remnants of a Santeria ceremony in the divided states of America, a nation quilted in hatred, wherever a dog gets more mercy, or even a dog gets more mercy. Miranda fell from her mother, hit the floor, and wailed. With palsied arms, Tammy cradled her bloody, mucus-covered baby and whispered, "Mommy is so sorry."
Thank you, Shelley, for reading that. Thank you so much. All right. Our next reader is Maricia Gabriel. I will read her bio. Maricia Gabriel is the author of the best-selling book, I Twirl in the Smoke. She coaches writers in the US and abroad with her program, Life-Changing Writing in 8 Weeks. Write your book, inspire others, and leave your mark on the world. Thank you, Maricia, for reading to us.
You can hear me okay? Okay. I learned about America. I learned about America in the daycare where babies of revolutionaries cried for their mothers to hold them. I learned about America in my grandmother's house where I was held with bedtime stories, nighttime baths, and desserts on weekends. I learned about America in 1982 when the revolution was over. We woke to an old soiled mattress on our front lawn and a pair of dirty sneakers hanging from the telephone wires. The kids down the street wanted to fight me because I was the new girl in their raggedy old neighborhood. They acted like it was my fault our small, dirty houses were built too close together. A drunk mother came home and stabbed her teenage daughter. Pedophiles preyed on little girls getting candy from the liquor store. They had no idea my parents fought for them to have free breakfast in school. Neither did I. I learned about America in the secrets my parents kept, not knowing where to begin. Don't tell anyone we were in the party. I learned about America in the tinge of resignation in my grandmother's voice when she said she was voting for the lesser of two evils. In the matter-of-fact way she explained white flight, redlining, and we live in the ghetto. And the way she didn't blame us for what America is. You see, those boys wouldn't be hanging on that corner if the Panthers were around. They'd have something to do. I learned all about America by the age of 10. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maricia. Thank you. Shelley, you have the next.
Okay. Robert Gibbons, a native Floridian, came to New York City in 2007 in search of his muse, Langston Hughes, and found a vibrant contemporary poetry community. His first book, Close to the Tree, was published by the New York-based Three Rooms Press in 2012. Robert lives in Brooklyn and continues to be active in the New York poetry scene. Flight is his second poetry collection.
Robert, are you with us? Thought I saw him. Robert Gibbons. Oh. Lose him? Oh dear. Oh dear. Shelley, would you like to read one of his poems? Sorry to put you on the spot there. I don't see him.
Okay, I can read one of his poems.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I always do better when I've read something.
I know.
before.
I know. I'm sorry.
Please forgive me, Robert, if I, anyway, okay. The poem I'm going to read is called Ode to Santa Barbara. On the corner of Ocean and Wilshire, there stood this woman as erect as an obelisk, her hands folded as suffragette, but we call her lady. We call her sister as she looks towards the hill with salmon pink carnations thrown at her feet, for she is the holy sea, not the seeker of fame, but seer. Her way was the only way out. If we want deliverance, she does grant forgiveness. If bold enough to face the sea and plead with her possible moment, for she is divine, a holy believer, as I call her Fatima, Guadalupe, the Lady of Malibu, or Harriet. Sojourner as child, I call her, we ate goodness, grandma, fed the fullness. She would stay until the end with our broken bends, weep for the sick and shut in for the soul to keep. Then look to the sunshine, the only lifeline.
Thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. I have the honor of introducing Heather Loban Viravong. Am I saying that right, Heather? I hope I've got your name right.
Yes, that's right, actually.
Okay, Loban, good, wonderful, I'm so glad. Heather Loban Viravong writes poetry to capture all that is felt, but remains unsaid. She is the co-author of a manuscript entitled Finding Friendship at the Color Line, Conversations Then and Now.
Great. Thank you so much. Whiteness. It's like snow that sticks to everything, clinging to the side of tree trunks, branches and leaves hanging low. Such heaviness, even the grass cannot raise its white tips. Yet I must clear a path and lift the burden until my arms are familiar with the motion. Hoist and throw, never one with the snow. And yet there you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. Really nice reading. Thank you. Shelley, you have the next reader.
Okay, I haven't caught up. Let's see, who's our next reader is Shalewa McCall. Okay. Shalewa McCall is an artist and educator dedicated to the liberatory creative practice. Was a 2019 Poets House Emerging Poet Fellow. Full stop. McCall is a Brooklynite, Garifuna woman, proud Gen Xer, mid-career choreographer, mother, daughter, cancer survivor, pie maker, and deep house head, has worked published in the African Writer magazine and forthcoming Obsidian.
Good evening. I'm really happy to be here with everybody. I'm particularly happy to have this time to remember my friend, the poet Denise Bell. Included in Black Poet Speak is a short memory I shared of Denise as shortly after she passed away in February as part of a celebration of Black history and Black futures. Today, I remember a new ancestor, the poet Denise Bell. We became friends in a Cave Canem workshop. She encouraged my writing and reminded me of the importance of not always being the elder friend in multi-generational friendships. Denise shared her favorite poet, Georgia Douglas Johnson, with me. As soon as I looked up her work, I instantly recognized the title of one of Johnson's most well-known poems and the title of Maya Angelou's memoirs. I also recognized Douglas's community making with the S Street Salon, where for more than 40 years, Georgia Douglas Johnson hosted literary community in her home as an antecedent to my two most beloved poetry communities, Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon, and there are many Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon poets gathered with us this evening, which was created and curated by J.P. Howard, and Poetry and Chill, launched by Leslie McIntosh. Denise attended Women Writers in Bloom's Poetry Salon gatherings, and Poetry and Chill emerges from relationships forged in the very workshop where I first met Denise Bell, which was a BOP workshop by Elder Afal Weaver. May Denise rest in power. May Denise rest in peace. Remember her as good and Black and as an important carrier of culture and bridger of generations. The poem that I'm going to share, Dear Daughters, comes out of my reflection on being the mother of a son, but having important relationships of the cross-generational variety. Dear daughters, although I never birthed you, I have loved you, known you, claimed you as some part of mine from first sight. Sometimes we meet in my classroom. More and more often, we are colleagues, collaborators. In any case, you shine and I see you. Then I see me in you, and I know we people, sharers of a belonging to and a coming from, singers of hard harmonies and dissonances, caught in crowded corners of stuffy rooms, keepers of sacred ways, mixtresses keyed into formulae spelled out in line-sung hymns and Cardi's rhymes, turnt in ring shouts and sticky floored ciphers, consecrated by takeaway plates loaded for the journey with extra pie and sweet tea in styrofoam. We churched in our own ways, the rising up of blue notes set free, praising the Holy Ghost or caught up in spirit like folks flattened by downing fists be a lineage. We unbroken from before Mom Bessie, me and you both, daughters of these women who found and named each other beloved, who laid some part of themselves out across the rocky ledges and busted curves to be a soft place for sister sharers of the road as they walked it into being, for us coming up behind. We people, anointed from birth, nod acknowledged, embraced. We people in full, blessing theirs, we know our hearts, full with love, magic, and mortal delicacy. Daughters always know, we people. Never forget Black girls, we people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leila. Shelley, I'm going to have you go ahead and introduce our the next reader, Alicia.
Okay, the next reader is Indigo Moore, is that correct?
No, actually, Indigo can't be with us, so that's why I was going to have you just go to Alicia.
I see.
I'm sorry.
Skip. Okay, we're okay. Got it.
So sorry. Yeah.
So, okay, so the next reader is Alicia Peterson. Alicia Peterson is a poet, author, and elementary teacher residing in Brooklyn, New York. Originally from West Philadelphia, Alicia grew up with a passion to share stories with impact. She received a BA in print communications in 2009 and a master's degree in writing studies 2013. She is the author of Blacklisted, 12 Men Facing Stigma and Success.
Uh-oh, Alicia, are you with us? Thought I'd seen you too. Huh. Okay. Shelley, do you want to read again?
Oh, yeah.
Do you mind?
Let's see. Sure. I guess to turn to the page. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
This is great. Okay. Alicia's poem is called At Least Two Pairs. The spotlight. I just want to make sure that people can just hear it. Okay. At least two pairs. She just wanted to be loved to the sounds of Biggie and Biz Markie, tape rockin', then poppin' from side A to B. She wanted to show love, not hate. Gold rings and radio Raheem tings, bamboo earrings, and at least two pairs, spelling out Jade. Oh, how they flocked to see her. She used to dig the brothels with a fade. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go back and read that again. Sorry. She used to dig the brothers with a fade. Other people's money made her sing falsetto-like, BK ghetto-like on Broadway, the water hose on the max, imagining it was a giant wave float on out to the sky, or maybe for now, soar on the stoop with her soulful stereo on blast, orange soda in her cup as she turns the music up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. Let's see. I have the great honor of introducing Michelle R. Smith, who is with us. Michelle R. Smith is the programming associate for Literary Cleveland and a teaching artist for Lake Eric Inc. It's not Lake Erie, is it? Did I do it? Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's our typo.
It is Lake Erie.
Yes, I'm so sorry. That's our typo. In 2018, Michelle created the Blacks Museum, an annual artistic showcase open to all forms and dedicated to honoring notable Black figures in American history and culture. Her second full poetry collection, The Vagina Analogues, was self-published in September 2020. Welcome, Michelle.
Hello, everybody. It's such an honor to be here with everybody and all this amazing work. The name of my piece is called Ode to the Women of Black Lives Matter versus U.S. Law Enforcement. Because you never shirk. Because Trayvon Martin. Because for you, political will is literal. Because by your mouths, your necks, shoulders, and feet, the world can change. Because our body on a rope, because legal executions of innocence, because our blood a government beverage, because who else beats a cocked Glock with a bared chest, because the best offense is a bald-faced truth, because rage, not just sorrow, because the tide of our insistence breaking on their silica heads turns their hard, hateful corpus to dust. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shelley, go ahead.
Our next poet is Vivian Dixon Sober. Vivian Dixon Sober has been writing since childhood. She earned a journalism degree from California State University, Sacramento, and worked as a writer for the CSUS Foundation. She currently writes fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and short stories. She loves to read and has been writing book reviews for various publications for 14 years.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, thank you. I'm going to read Why Did You Kill My Father? Since Daddy's death, Saturdays have become our day to shop, or in most cases, window shop. I dreaded it. Made me sick to my stomach. It was a ritual, though. I remember Mom parking blue our four-door Chevy on Westminster Street in downtown Providence. We got out of the car. Mama spotted someone who made her nervous. She had trouble finding the key to unlock the car, but she did. Get in, girl, she said. Hurry. We obeyed, no questions asked. Lock your doors, Mama said. See that cop over there? That's the cop who killed your father. My first tattoo. His face in my mind. Light skin, blue-green eyes, pudgy face like a bulldog. His face seared into my brain. I was walking home when I saw him sitting in his police car, the windows rolled up. I'd been at the library viewing microfilm, trying to find articles about my father. I was 8 and felt lonely and empty without him. The flowers on his grave hadn't even withered. I walked across the street and tapped lightly on the window. He smiled and rolled it down. Hi, little girl. How may I help you today? Without bitterness in my heart, I politely said, yes, officer, I have a question. Why did you kill my father? Why did you not just take him to jail? I waited for an answer, but he wasn't smiling anymore. He turned his face away from mine, rolled up the window, started the car, and drove away. I asked him myself, I thought, and he had no words, had no words. Some things are not in a day's work. Looking back, I'm proud of that child. She lives within me, still the same. She forgives easily until she's had enough. Daddy played a part too. He didn't deserve to die at the hands of anyone. Life is not ours to give or to take. Looking back, I know I changed that officer's life. Daddy was gone, but perhaps the officer would never do that again. I know I helped that man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Powerful poem. All of them powerful poems. Wow. I have a couple of questions. Is Gretna Wilkinson here? I'm trying to, I don't think I see Gretna. Okay, and Valerie, are you Valerie Verdia by any chance, our poet? I see you, Valerie.
I'm here.
Would you like to read your piece? It's one of my favorites in the book.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Let me read your bio really fast, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I don't think I got an RSVP from you, but I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Valerie Verdia is a registered nurse from Brooklyn, New York. She is an avid reader and writes short story fiction and narrative poetry. In addition, she is a member of the New York Writers Coalition and the Brooklyn Society Writers Workshops. Welcome, Valerie, and thank you.
Thank you very much. This piece is called Gather. Gather the ancients. Gather them to the deep, cavernous inward parts. In the silence, hear their whispers, their cries. Feel their stirrings to rise and break every chain. Feel the strength of their truth. Embrace the forebearers' sojourns meant to transcend. Gather them into the marrow of bone, of sinew. Be consumed by their purpose. Negate the spaces occupied by doubt, fear, and acceptance. Let the hollowness within be filled with hope that change awaits. Gather the spirits of warriors, of champions. Gather them like rivers to the seas, where no recompense lies, where the omnipresent yearnings to breathe the sweet breath of freedom floats upon the eternal ebb and flow. Gather their convictions, keep them there until they take hold. Do not falter or wane. Stand up, O people. Gather the ancients who lie dormant in the stillness within. When the gathering is done, hold them no more. Plant the seeds of ancestral legacy into the little ones, the in-between ones, the aged ones, so that they too will gather the ancients' power and nobility that is rightfully theirs. Let it be handed down one by one for all time. Gather the ancients.
Thank you so much, Valerie. That's a perfect poem for us to end on. So thank you so much for your
Thank
willingness to read it. So I think Gretna Wilkinson is not with us, and I'm so sorry to hear that. But with that, we will bring this reading to a close. We want to thank you all for coming, for the poets, for contributing to Black Poets Speak, to AWA and all of its wonderful people who support the work that gets put out into the world as Peregrine every year. And we do have, as I say, if you're interested in the book, you can find it on Amazon. I posted a link earlier, and maybe Katie can post a link again for us. But we want to thank you again for your attention, for your reading, for everything. And thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.